What's going on, everybody? Matt Malatesta here at the Coach's Corner. All right, hottest name in the state of Texas as it relates to coaching. Eli Reinhart uh, just set it on fire. Honestly, set it on fire. North Crowley, they win a state championship. Now, Hutto, brilliant move. Hires Coach Reinhart. Coach, congrats. What was it about Hutto that was like, hey, this is a great place for me?
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on and definitely appreciate, all the compliments. I definitely am excited about this opportunity to be here. Some of the things that really excited me about this job, first was, being in a smaller community, being in a kind of a one-horse town right now. I know there's a new school coming, but right now being in a place that really cares about athletics and really cares about the success of their football program and just all athletic programs in general. And our superintendent, Miss Netherland, just her dedication to athletics was super important to me, and finding the right fit for my first job. I feel like, getting my first one, getting my first opportunity, making sure that it was something I felt comfortable with and feeling like we had an opportunity to be successful was also a huge part. So, seeing the kids that were on the team and seeing the ability that they've had, and kind of looking at the future of the program, it felt like a place that I could call home for a long time, and be very comfortable with being here. So just an opportunity to be successful, an opportunity to work in a one-horse town for a great administration, a great community, was something that definitely fired me up about this job.
Well, what's cool is that you're right. What I do love around the town, it's orange. Everything is orange. Your Whataburger, your Chick-fil-A, they got these hippos all over the place. It's kind of like a little Friday Night Lights feel to it, which is super cool. Just talk about also the run last year for North Crowley. I mean, it was a dominant season. Were you surprised, or could you see this coming maybe a year or two before?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this, talking about this season, talking about this run a lot, and talk about this with Coach Gates, our head coach there. And, it's one thing to jump in a program where they've had success and go win a state championship, but it's another thing to start it, 3 years ago. They had kind of gotten going with Coach Allen before, and Coach Allen went to Horn, and then we got there with Coach Gates. But to see how much it's grown in the last 3 years and be able to, finish it with the state championship was an amazing achievement. But we really felt like we were going to have a lot of success, or be set up for success, looking at the sophomore class that we had when we first got there. We probably had 7 or 8 sophomores starting for us, or at least playing significant time for us that first year. And, just seeing those guys as they kind of continue to build. And, we kind of had a good feeling that this last year, this season was going to be really great for us, because those guys were, 3-year starters. And, I think that's a big part of, winning these state championships, is having guys that have continuity within your program. And, we definitely had a huge core of guys. We had a huge core of even sophomores that played for us this year, that were our first group of 8th graders when we got there, and seeing their development, was something that we felt like we could get done, with everything to work out. There's a lot of luck that goes involved with everything, but we really felt like we had a great opportunity with the kids that we had in our program kind of moving forward.
You're no stranger to the Austin area, being at Anderson as well. But what I do also love is son of a coach. The if you're a son of a coach or you played for your dad, um, it never turns off. You're always talking ball. What sort of influence did that have you growing up and thinking, hey, I could see myself being a head coach?
Yeah, I think, my dad's been a head football coach for now, just finished year 31, getting ready for year 32 here soon. Obviously had a huge part in me kind of growing up, and then being a part of football programs, just being around him all the time, being up at the school all summer, 2 days, every opportunity that we had, we wanted to be around him, be around the program. So, from a young age, kind of knew that this was something I wanted to do, and something that coaching always interested me. But, I was from a small town, so Sports in general were important, competing, in whatever sport it was, baseball, basketball, football, obviously, golf, your track, whatever it was, having opportunities to compete was something that I looked forward to. But having a great relationship with my dad growing up and being able to be around his program, and then having an opportunity to play for him and then coach for him as well for 5 years. So, kind of go through all of it, kind of look back in the moment, it's like you butt heads a little bit working together, but you look back and you're thankful. I'm thankful for that opportunity that I had to work with him. And, it's laid the framework for who I am as a coach and definitely for who I am as a person as well.
You were at Central Michigan as well, I believe, doing some college. You were in the college game as well. Just talk about what you learned from that experience.
Yeah, so Central Michigan was the last spot I was in. But I also spent time at places like Ferris State University working for a legendary head coach, Tony Anise, who's won 3 of the last 4 Division II national championship games, and has been a huge mentor of mine and has really helped my development. As a coach working for him, I had the opportunity to be offense coordinator at Saginaw Valley State and then at Northwood University as well. But Central Michigan was huge for me to kind of branch away from what I've always known and get out of kind of my little bubble, my little network. And I got an opportunity to work for Coach Kevin Barbe, who was the offensive coordinator at the time. And he was a big reason of how I ended up in Texas. It was indirect. He just talked about it all the time about, he's actually from Nederland, but he talked about it all the time. And, I became interested in Texas high school football, and I figured if I was going to get back into the game and get on the field and start coaching again, I wanted to do it at a high level, and Texas really was something that was interesting to me. So, just found an opportunity to get down here, and kind of the rest is history. But college is really gave me the framework for all the scheme and all the working with different kids and different backgrounds. And like I said, getting to Central Michigan kind of created a better, well-rounded, offensive mix, and just gave me the tools, I think, to call plays at a high level and develop great offense. Working with Coach Barbe and all those other guys up there.
You know, um, Talk about, I mean, culture is such kind of a corny word and everybody uses it, but what do you feel like you bringing into Hutto? What is your culture, coming in as a new, very new head coach now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, coming into a new situation, being a new head coach for the first time, just like being at North Crowley for the first time and being at Anderson for the first time, I think the things that I'll look to do right away is just pour into kids, start building relationships, and do the things that I know how to do, and be able to, develop those relationships with kids, community, staff, those things that we've done every other place, and then kind of learn everything else as it goes. But developing those relationships and developing that trust factor within our program is going to be kind of the number one thing. And then just, do the things that a young coach should do, provide energy, provide excitement about your program and, get kids excited about it as well. I wasn't here for the previous staff or, the previous years, but, just really speak to what I know, and that's developing relationships with kids, pouring into them as much as we can, and then trying to relate with them as much as we can as well. But developing that trust, I think, goes a long way within your program to help build that culture that you're talking about. And, I think it starts with relationships, though. I don't think you can create a solid culture and foundation if you don't have relationships with your kids.
And I love your youth also, early 30s, but I think that's a major benefit. Just how kids are these days and, social media and how it all connects to marketing and NIL and all that. How do you feel like your youth helps you in this new job?
Yeah, I think having being a little bit younger, I feel like I definitely have the energy to feel like I can do it all, but at the same time, be able to use what I know and the knowledge that I've learned over the years, because I've been coaching for now. Next year, we'll be going into year 13. So I've been coaching for quite a while, but, I feel like I have that youth and that excitement and that energy. Not to say that, older guys don't have that same, energy and juice, but, I feel like I can still relate to kids well with the things that are going on, staying up and current with, how kids are adjusting and how kids are changing, and not necessarily being, stuck in my ways, or feeling like, back in the day, kids weren't like this, or kids didn't do these things. Like, shoot, that I'd be talking about myself, and, because it wasn't too long ago, I was one of those kids. So being able to relate and, feel like the things they're going through, I think is one thing that you can get perspective from. And I think maybe it's a little bit easier to reflect when you're not as old, and you can go back and think about, kind of the things that you went through as a young kid, and, relate to the issues and the struggles that the kids are going through nowadays. And, I think that can provide, a little bit of compassion for some of these kids and their situations that they have going on. And I think all of that goes to say with it really helps with developing those relationships with your kids, and feeling like you can have a strong relationship, but also at the same time, have that, arm's length with professional, being professional, having professionalism with it as well. But creating those relationships where those guys will trust you and feel like that you can actually hear it because you've kind of been through the same things.
Finally, man, we got to know, what does Coach Reinhart do for fun? I mean, football's great, but dude,
Yeah.
you got to take a break, my guy.
Yeah. Really, really my fun is, spending time with my family in whatever capacity that is. It don't really matter what it is, but my family's pretty spread across the country now. I got family in Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, St. Louis, and Arizona now. So, everyone's kind of spread out, and I'm down in Texas. So, any opportunity I get to spend time with them, is big for me. And spending time with my girlfriend, and our animals and the things that we have, our two dogs, and just being able to enjoy what downtime that we do have, and staying kind of in the moment with that, and try to enjoy it as much as we can, because obviously we do a lot of work, but spend as much time as we can, and do, whatever. It really doesn't matter. Be outside, go play golf, do those things. But, I definitely think family is a priority, and however we can make it work for everybody involved is kind of what I like to spend my spare time doing.
Well, man, we're fired up for you, and we're fired up for Hutto, because, man, that was a great hire. You just coming off of a state championship, and just your ability to see offense and run your own program. It's gonna be dangerous over there in Austin. It's gonna be dangerous. All right, hey, Coach, congrats again. Eli Reinhart, the new head coach at Hutto, coming over from North Crowley. Congrats again. This is Matt with VYPE. We'll see y'all at the games.